Hi friends, it's Valerie and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to this week's What's for Dinner. If you are new here, I'd love if you'd hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family. Also leave a like or a comment down below. It really does help my channel. Today I'm going to have my 3 inspirational meals for you with recipes, and one of them is sent in from a subscriber. And so thank you, Jennifer, for sending the request in for chicken fried steak. It was delicious. And so I've got that, and then I've got a couple just quick meal options in there for you as well. And when this video comes out on Sunday, I will actually be in Las Vegas. My friend's wedding is the day before, but the next day I will just be there relaxing and hanging out in the pool. That's my favorite thing to do. So let's just get started. To start off, we're going to need about a cup of crushed pineapple that has been drained, and I'm going to add that to a bowl. And then to that, I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of ketchup, and then 1/3 cup of soy sauce, and 2 tablespoons of honey. And my honey is still crystallized. I'm using the last of this. Soon I'll have to just get a new one. If you guys have any tips on how to prevent that, go and leave that in a comment down below. And then I'm adding in some garlic. I'd say about it asks for a clove's worth. I probably added a few cloves worth. And it calls for 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Actually thought I had, or lime juice. I thought I had lime juice and I didn't. So I just mixed this together. And then I tasted it and I wanted a little bit more sweetness to mine, so I just scooped in a little bit of dark brown sugar and I added a splash of lemon juice, but I didn't get that on camera. And then I mixed it all together. And then now to the bottom of my Instant Pot, I am adding in 6 boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and I'm going to go ahead and scoop some of that sauce mixture over the top of it. Now, I'm using frozen chicken thighs, and this recipe doesn't even call for adding water to the bottom of the Instant Pot, but I am using frozen, so I wasn't too worried in the first place. And then I decided to take some tongs and kind of move these around because I wanted to get the sauce on my chicken. Like, I really wanted to get down in there, like spread throughout all that chicken a little bit better than to just be right on top. And if you're using like raw chicken, of course that's going to make it a whole lot easier to move around, but if you're not, maybe just add a couple in and then add some sauce. It'll make it easier on you in the long run. Then I added that to the Instant Pot and put the lid on to sealing. And I'm going to cook this on high pressure for 15 minutes since I'm using frozen chicken. If you're not using frozen, just do 10 minutes and then do a 10-minute natural release, so don't quick release your steam. And then afterwards, I pulled the chicken out onto a plate because this sauce was really thin and I needed to go ahead and thicken that up. So what I did is I just put the saute function on and I let that like bubble up and just thicken up a bit, made a better sauce. I served this with some white rice and some broccoli. I just seasoned that with some salt and pepper and butter, and this was really delicious. That chicken, those chicken thighs just like were so tender. I love chicken thighs. They are really so juicy, and that flavor from the sauce, it was sweet but not too sweet. It was so balanced and really delicious. And for this night, I just wanted something quick, so I went to the deli and I picked up some of their fried chicken because it was on sale. Like, it's like an 8-piece family pack for $5.99, which is a really good price. And I got some broccoli salad and I made some mashed potatoes really quick. I just had this packet that I needed to use up, so it's the roasted garlic. That's my favorite flavor. And it was a nice little complete meal there. And I was showing you guys here because I thought that was 2 chicken thighs and I thought they made a mistake. And actually it was just a smaller chicken breast. It was just, they look the same size, right? But when I bit into that one, it was purely white meat, so I knew that it was a chicken breast, just on the small side. And I'd have been okay if they made the mistake because I really like getting the chicken thighs. They're just so good when they're all fried up like that. And yeah, this was really delicious. I like how quick and easy you can get, you know, something from the deli like this, and you can add that vegetable in with that broccoli salad. It's so delicious. It had been a while since we had spaghetti and I was really craving it, so I thought, you know, I'm going to make some spaghetti, but I'm going to do it like $1 million spaghetti style here. So I just taken a pound of ground beef on a medium-sized skillet, or a large skillet, sorry, over medium heat, and I am just going to go ahead and brown my beef. I'm using that meat chopping tool to go ahead and break it on up. And when most of the pink is gone, I'm going to go ahead and season it with some garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of Italian seasoning. And I'm just going to go ahead and mix that all together, continuing to chop up my meat because I don't like those big chunks of meat. And then I just went ahead and drained the grease from my meat. If you don't need to because you're using leaner meat, that's perfectly fine. And then you're going to need some pasta sauce. I'm using this Prego roasted garlic Parmesan sauce. It's, I believe, a 24-ounce jar. And I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Don't be like me and forget to reserve a little bit for the top of your casserole there. But you'll want to reserve maybe about 3/4 cup of that. And then stir that all together with your meat, and then I'm going to go ahead and boil up some water, salt it heavily, and I'm adding in about 3/4 of a pound of pasta, and I'm just going to cook that until it's al dente. And to the bottom of a casserole dish, I went ahead and added a few tablespoons of butter and some fresh chopped up parsley, and I added my noodles to that, and that's going to go ahead and melt that butter. I just let it stir around. And if you have the time, unlike me, you'll want to let that pasta cool a little bit so you can add in 2 eggs there, but I didn't have the time, so I'm just over here swirling away, mixing it all up, making sure that it doesn't go ahead and cook up in that hotter pasta, and it was perfectly fine. And then you're going to go ahead and add your sauce and meat layer on top of that, and just go ahead and spread it out nice and evenly. Now, if you have some ricotta, go ahead and put that on top. If you don't like ricotta, you can of course skip the step. It's not really $1,000,000 spaghetti though. I didn't have ricotta, but I always substitute a lot for cottage cheese, and I had that on hand. So I just went ahead and spooned that across and made a nice even layer of that. I've seen many people add cream cheese to that as well. I've never done it that way. I'd like to give it a try. Maybe next time I will. But yeah, I just had the cottage cheese, so I went ahead and added that. And then some of your reserve sauce, your 3/4 cup or so of that reserve sauce, just go ahead and spread that on top. Mine, like I said, I didn't reserve. I forgot, so I had to scoop it out of that meat, and it was not fun. And then go ahead and grate yourself up some mozzarella cheese, or use a bag kind, whatever you like, but I grated this one up, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that all along the top of my casserole. Didn't really measure, maybe about 8 ounces or so. And I like to sprinkle some dried parsley on top. I just like the way that looks when it comes out of the oven. And I went ahead and baked that in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. And I left that uncovered, but if you feel yours is getting too brown, go ahead and loosely put some foil on top of it. And I'm making this beet salad on the side. It's just kind of something I've been craving. So yeah, I have these love beets. They're so convenient, and I really love beets a lot. So I'm just slicing those up. This is just going to be for me because my boyfriend's not a huge fan of beets. And I found some little piece of cucumber that I had left. So I went ahead and sliced that up and added it in, and some red onion. I sliced that up as well. I broke those slices up, and I'm spooning in a couple spoonfuls of mayonnaise here. Now, you might think this is a little weird, and that's okay. It's just, to me, it's really delicious. Thought I'd show y'all. So I'm just going to go ahead and stir that together. I season it with some pepper and some salt, and then I always put a good splash of apple cider vinegar in there, and this is just so good to me. And there it is, all out of the oven, nice and bubbly. This was so delicious. It had been a good while since we had anything spaghetti related. Sometimes I just get caught up in making new dishes here on YouTube that I can, skip out on having some of the simple things that we really enjoy. So this was so good. Had my beet salad there and that garlic toast I tried in the air fryer, and really delicious. I wanted a quick and easy dinner for tonight, so we're going to do some like fish and chips, and I'm going to be using these Gorton's beer battered wild caught fillets here. So I haven't tried these before, but they looked really good. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw those in the oven, and I'm going to make some fries up as well. For the fries, I'm just going to be doing some Red Robin fries. These fries are so good. If you've never got them at the grocery store before, they're a little more on the pricey side compared to some of the cheaper brands, but they are definitely delicious. And I wanted a tartar sauce with this, and normally I just wing one, but I pulled up a recipe to try out, and so I'm loosely following that, and I'll have that linked in the description box down below. So to a bowl, I put in a cup of mayonnaise, and then it calls for a half a cup of finely chopped dill pickles. I'm just using Grillo's pickles. I'm dicing them up. I'm not quite using a half a cup, maybe a quarter cup's worth. And then I'm adding in 2 teaspoons of pickle juice and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and a half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then it called for a half a teaspoon of salt. So at this point here, just wait or add a little less. It was a little on the salty side for me. I had to add some more mayonnaise later on to kind of fix it. But then I added a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and 1 tablespoon of freshly chopped up dill. Maybe a little bit more. I do love dill. And I just what I had on hand there, so I just went ahead and chopped that up, mixed it all in together, and then I tasted this and I was like, I'm used to having sweet relish in my tartar sauce, so I added a little bit in there and a little bit of spicy brown mustard because I didn't have Dijon. And then I kind of just adjusted or tasted and adjusted as I went along, add a little bit more sweet relish, and then it was good to go. I don't know why I thought these fish fillets were going to be bigger, but anyways, they were still really delicious, nice and crispy. My good old Red Robin fries are always amazing. There's that tartar sauce, and this was a quick, easy, and delicious meal. This was a recipe that a subscriber asked me to make, so they didn't send a specific recipe in, they just wanted me to make chicken fried steak, and I've actually never made that before, so I'm making the Pioneer Woman's recipe. So to a shallow dish, I've added in a cup of milk, or she asked for 1.5 cups. You could definitely get away with 1 cup of milk. I was left with a lot, and then I added 2 eggs to that, and I'm just going to go ahead and whisk that together with my fork to combine the two. And then to my other shallow dish, I'm going to go ahead and add in 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to season that now with 2 teaspoons of seasoned salt, and then 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper, and 3/4 teaspoon of paprika, and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And then just go ahead, again, I used a fork and just whisk that all together till all those spices were dispersed and combined with the flour well. And her recipe calls for 3 pounds of cube steak. I'm only using about 2 pounds worth. This was really hard for me to find at my local grocery store, but I did get my hands on some, and I'm just patting that dry with a paper towel. She doesn't say to do this, but I read comments and just people saying that they might have had issues with their breading sticking, so sometimes I find that the reasoning behind that is because of too much moisture. So I did go ahead and pat that dry, and then I'm going to go ahead and dip that into the dry mixture here first. Going to get it nice and coated, and then dip that right on into our egg mixture, and I let that drip for just a second so it can have all the excess liquid come off. Then I dipped it right back into that flour, and I'm really pushing it on there, making sure it's nice and coated. I want a good breaded layer. For me, that's the best part, so I'm really getting it on there, and I'm going to do a second one here for you just so you can see that again, but after that, you know, just repeat the process with however much you're actually using. And you're just going to go ahead and set those aside onto a clean surface until you're ready to fry them up. And also, I did forget to season my cube steak with salt and pepper prior to dipping it in all these batters here, so I made up for it with my gravy, so it was no problem. Like, I wasn't lacking any flavor because my gravy was nice and flavorful and it covered it, so it was no big deal. So it's fixable if you forget. And there I'm just showing you I had to set them aside. I just used a cutting mat instead of a plate. It just was a bigger surface. And then I went ahead and heated up 1/2 cup of canola oil, and when it got to about 350 degrees, I added in a tablespoon or so of butter. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in my cube steak, and we're cooking this for about 2 minutes on each side. And my pan's, it's not my pan, it's more this stove. This stove is so finicky, like it really heats my pan so unevenly. I should have used my induction little single burner, but I was already in the process, so it is what it is. But yeah, just going to go ahead and repeat that with all of your meat. And when they're done, go ahead and set them on a lined plate that has some paper towels. I set mine in the oven to keep them warm. You can do the same or cover them with another plate or foil. Okay, so here's where I had a filming issue, so I'm just going to have to kind of explain the best I can to you. So you're supposed to remove the grease from the pan. You're going to use this same pan though. You're going to leave all those bits on the bottom. And I didn't remove my grease because she said to add in a 1/4 cup back from what you pull out, but mine only looked like about a 1/4 cup's worth. So yeah, I left it in the pan, didn't even bother taking it out. And then to it, you're going to take that flour that you used to coat your cube steak. You're going to use that same seasoned flour, and you're going to go ahead and add in 1/3 cup of it, and you're going to keep whisking that until it makes like a roux basically. She says to keep cooking it until it reaches a deep golden brown color. So that's what I did, and then you're going to go ahead and pour in 3 to 4 cups of milk. I did do 3, thinking it'd be fine because 4 seemed like a lot, and you're going to whisk that constantly, but it was a little too thick for my liking, and I like her thick, but I needed that extra 4th cup of milk. And just go ahead and keep whisking that until it's nice and smooth, and it will thicken up. And so don't worry about it if it seems like it's too much milk. And then here it is all done. I made some Instant Pot mashed potatoes, and I just served that with some broccoli, and this was a very stick to your bones delicious meal. I want to give a huge thank you to Jennifer for requesting this meal, and I can't wait for lots more recipes to be sent in from my YouTube family. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss out on any future What's for Dinner videos, and I hope you all are having an amazing week.